Okay, so for 7.9, we're just doing the ready and the set. Don't worry about the go, so cross that off. Alright, so the ready is kind of stuff from the beginning of this chapter. Alright, so we got like central angles, and we have inscribed angles. So they tell us here, we have circle B, and we're given that angle measure, they give us that. So that's a central angle right here. So that central angle is 135 degrees. Meaning that opening opens at 135 degrees. Okay? They say find the measure of angle ADC. Okay, so that's going to be, if I start at A, then go to D, then end at C. Now we're talking about this angle. I'm going to put 2 marks because the purple one's different from the red. Okay, so if the red angle is 135, we should know something. The purple angle should be specifically related to that in a certain way. Alright, so hopefully you guys remember that. Yeah, if not, email me. Number 2, kind of the same thing. Oh, I forgot about number 1. They say also find the measure of arc AC. So the arc AC, they're kind of trying to trick you. Remember, we always go the short way, A to C. If they wanted you to go the long way, they would say A, D, C, and you would go the big way. Okay, so they say find the measure of arc AC, but it's already given to us, so it's just 135. All right, so some of these might be given; you might not have to do any work. Same 3 and 4. Now we're doing like arc lengths of sectors. Okay, so they want you to find the measure of arc JL. Well, that's the first thing. So J to L, that's given to us. Then they say find the radian measure that goes with the angle of 125. So we got to convert 125 to radians. So to do that, if you watch the other videos, you just multiply by pi over 180. Okay, so 125 to radians times pi over 180. That's how we go to radians. And then, yeah, simplify the 125 and 180. Number 4 is the one where they're asking you for arc lengths and areas of sectors. Okay, so that's where you're going to have to do like angle divided by 360 times the circumference or times the area, depending on what they're asking you for. It looks like you're going to have to do each one here. So for this one, it's going to be angle over 360 times pi r squared, it's the area. And then this one is going to be angle over 360 times circumference, which is 2 pi r. Alright, so that should be kind of a review from what we've done. And then the set, you're just going back and forth between radians and degrees. Okay, so we know degrees to radians, we just talked about that. Degrees to radians, you multiply by pi over 180, and then simplify. Okay, and if you want to go the other way, if you want to go from radians to degrees, you're just going to do the opposite. Well, not the opposite, but you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So 180 over pi. Alright. And keep in mind when you're doing this one, when you're going from radians to degrees, expect, like if we did pi over 3 radians times 180 over pi, just keep in mind that these pi's are going to cancel. So if you did pi, so for number 8, pi over 3 times 180 over pi, those pi's cancel. It would end up being 180 over 3, which should simplify to 60. So what that means is that pi over 3 radians equals 60 degrees. you could also, the easier way to do that would just be to plug in 180 for the pi sign, actually. So let's go backwards. Let's take all this off. So say, let's go to number 9. Let's do 8. Let's do 8. So if I wanted to make this pi over 3 radians into degrees, we remember that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. So if we just plug in 180 for pi, we would have went straight to the 180 over 3 and gotten 60. So that's actually an easier way to go from radians to degrees. Just plug in 180 for pi. So number 9 would just be 5 times 180, and that would be the degrees. All right. Email me if you guys have questions. Do not do the go.